What's going on, Omnibuddies? Mitch here, and today we are back doing another overview. What are we looking at? We are looking at the latest entry into the Bone Orchard Mythos by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. We are looking at Tenement. All right, so I am a huge fan of Jeff Lemire. I love Andrea Sorrentino's work, but personally, Jeff Lemire is like one of my top creators out there. So when the Bone Orchard Mythos series, world, universe, whatever you want to call it, began, I got obsessed with it. I was so excited to finally read it. I have The Passageway and 10,000 Black Feathers, and now I have Tenement. And I finally read it, and you know what? Oof, I cannot wait to read more. I know that they are on kind of an indefinite hiatus right now, but this definitely reveals a lot more to this mythos and kind of expands the world and opens it up and kind of explains a little bit of what's going on in these books. So, you know what? Let's stop talking about it here and let's get it on the table, open it up, and talk about it some more. All right, so here is the hardcover of Tenement. This is the third entry hardcover volume into the Bone Orchard Mythos. So this is by Jeff Lemire, art by Andrea Sorrentino, and colors by Dave Stewart. So this is the spine here. We'll get a little close up there. It's nice. Published by Image. And here is the back cover. It's got that classic horror look to it with the Bone Orchard Mythos. Retails for $39.99 USD. And this collects Bone Orchard Mythos Tenement issues 1 through 10. So this is a 10 issue volume. I will grab the other two that we have here, 10,000 Black Feathers and The Passageway. I believe that's volume 1. So these are all the same size here, and you can see all the spines lined up here. Tenement is about the same size as the other two combined. So yeah, but it is the same scale, sized hardcovers all across the board for all three. So there we go. It's obviously kind of sticking with that black and red. The other two have obviously a lot more white, but anywho, so this is the volume 3 Tenement, and we'll dive right into it. It's got these nice bright red end papers in here, a little bit of the color, well, not color, but design work, and then we go right into the Bone Orchard Mythos. 7. There are 7 of them. That much I am almost certain of, and that is basically the premise of this is 7, the number 7. And you are basically introduced to 7 characters, and they all are sort of tied together in that they live in the same apartment building or condo, duplex, whatever. They live in the same building together, and they don't necessarily know each other. They might know of each other, but they don't know each other, at least in passing. In fact, in one of these, the young boy is, let's get kind of to his character here. The young boy, Isaac, is kind of meets the elderly gentleman in the building, and that's the first time they talk to each other, is passing in the hallway. And everything, it kind of starts off showing everyone's different struggles, what they're dealing with in their lives, a little bit behind who they are, kind of what drives them as a character, and gets it all set up like that. And here's where Isaac is meeting this old man, Felix, and he's kind of a bit creepy, but just kind of an old guy, recluse, keeps to himself. And so there's some mystery slowly building there, where it's just kind of building these different characters. And yeah, so the whole thing is narrated, and you do learn who the narrator is. And then as you're doing that, everything begins to kind of circle the drain, as it were, and go downhill real fast. And this has the classic Sorrentino Bone Orchard Mythos art style, where it's like these weird panels that are just like going crazy on here. I do really enjoy it. The binding of this book really does help with not giving much, if any, gutter loss. So you can see right there, like, it opens up very flat and there's not much gutter loss in there at all. So, and Dave Stewart, I gotta hand it to him, because like with a book, I mean, you're a colorist, so what's the thing you want to do is put in color into a book. And he has the ability and the know-how to be able to kind of rein himself in, hold himself back, stick to a kind of very muted color palette. And then, I mean, for a lot of it, I mean, especially if you look at like 10,000 Black Feathers or The Passageway, a lot of it is just very much like black, white, and red. A few splashes of colors on some of the pages, but as things get darker, the color palettes get darker and more muted and interesting like that, which is very much similar to how this is. And I mean, this isn't even very bright at all either. So this book kind of starts dark and just kind of, it does get darker, but it stays real dark. So what happens is all these characters are basically trapped in a building together, metaphorically and, well, physically too, for the story, and weird stuff starts to happen. And what's really cool about this story is we've read 10,000 Black Feathers, we've read The Passageway, or hopefully you have if you're coming into this book. And in all actuality, you wouldn't actually need to read those other stories before you jump into this one. Would it help give some context? Absolutely. But you could actually read this book first and then jump to the other books and kind of get almost a history, a backstory, fill in some of those things and go, oh, I see those connection points that are mentioned in this book. So you could actually read these in any order, which is pretty cool. I hadn't actually thought about it until this very moment filming, in that you don't have to read them in chronological order necessarily. Would it be best to? Maybe, probably, but is it absolutely necessary? No. So crazy things start to happen in this building, and these people are trapped together. It's kind of got that like not the, you know, that classic like horror element where these people are on an adventure and they get stuck and they're being stalked kind of a thing, and they got to work their way through. So it's kind of got that classic horror trope, but this is very much a, they definitely have to descend into the horror of their situation. Definitely interesting take, weird characters, very weird things happen. And I do got to say, it's a very interesting play on all of this, just kind of the hellscape and the supernatural stuff that's happening in this book. I really loved the characterizations as they went through these different layers of this hellscape, and how the characters kind of revealed themselves and who they are, not necessarily just their trope and their surface level characterization, but actually who they are on a deeper level. So the characters are physically going deeper, and emotionally they're going deeper, and everything really is going much deeper as it goes into the Bone Orchard Mythos. So it's kind of a dissension into really everything in this book. I do got to say, the paneling, like I kind of mentioned before with Sorrentino's paneling and art style, he's got a great way of doing it. I love, like, this is a could be a very basic page right here, but instead of just having like panel, double panel, double, like doing these basic panels, he does these nice like overlapping and leaves that classic comic empty space in there, but he does these layered overlapping sections, which kind of, it just takes it up a notch, gives it a lot more interest in there. But he does a lot of that, with smaller panels versus, full page width, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, like it's not just a panel, it's like an object, a large space in there. So very cool way of doing it. And then he goes into these very interesting like full page spreads, splash pages with that are just dark, and like Stewart's colors in here really help make everything pop, but there's very little that can actually pop in here. But he still manages, they still both manage to pull it off really well. And then doing paneling like this, where you just have like red boxes, which is red and yellow. It's very unusual for what happened with what most comic book artists, illustrators, and colorists do. But they pull it off really well, and they make it blend together. You know, these panels where, you know, it's one big panel, but they kind of like make it fade into other panels here. Really cool, really interesting. And then when stuff starts to kind of go off kilter, physical panels are off kilter here. And then they do these really interesting line work pieces right here, where it's just kind of like almost a golden ratio type spiral thing going on, but not quite. But I mean, everything's kind of off in this book, which is really cool, really interesting, fun way of doing things. And then, yeah, so that's a lot about the art. I really don't want to talk too much about the story because it would give away so much. But if you are into horror, thriller, a lot of mystery stuff going on, and with like supernatural horror elements, this book is definitely hitting on all those. And I gotta say, like, here's another good example of that lack of gutter loss, where there's, you know, really good opening to the pages with that nice sewn image binding there, and then yeah, so you don't have much craziness. I do gotta say, this book made an interesting jump. You're in the middle of all these horror elements going on, and all of a sudden, boom, you're into like this noir PI, personal investigator style story right here. And it does this really interesting stuff, but I was kind of taken aback. I'm like, what is going on? It's very different. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing begins to tie together again. Really well done. Here's another shot of that spine. So it's been flipped through a few times, read once, and now, you know, this video. So this is where I'm at. Really nice lay flat. Not much creaking. The pages are nice and thick. You know, you're not seeing, I mean, if I'm holding a light through it, like really bright light, you're seeing through. But if you're just reading, even if you're kind of picking up a page, you're really rarely seeing through. It's a little bit of a, yeah. So the pages are nice, good quality, good thickness, kind of that semi-gloss feel to it. But man, Stewart's colors just pop. He knows how to do a gradient, that's for sure. Love it. And then let's get kind of through this a little bit. I don't want to show too much of it. Kind of flip through it so you can get a little bit of the feel of the book. Really decent plot twists in here. Went to places I was not expecting it to go at all, which is nice. I love when a book can really throw things off kilter for me, and dang, does it throw things off kilter. I mean, come on. Big horror fly, come on. What in the world? Jeez. Anyways, sorry my hands are kind of dirty and like black and all that. I just changed out the alternator on my car this afternoon, so my hands are kind of gross right now. Tried washing them, but getting better. Anyways, I digress. So crazy. Like, the art just gets so cool and so fun. Really good ending. There's more that needs to be told. I know they're on hiatus indefinitely right now while they kind of take a break from the horror genre. But so far, so good. Loving it. It's got a lot of great extras in this book, with some variant cover gallery here with all the different peeps on there. Really good cover art gallery going on. A lot of fun stuff. And then I wish there was some... Sorrentino's got such a cool art style, like I was talking about with his layouts and paneling. I really do wish that that's kind of my only gripe. I love seeing like progression, like page progressions, and I would absolutely love to see Sorrentino's page progressions on a few of these where, I was kind of showing you those red outlined pages, and like look at these like off kilter, just like shattered glass going on. Really interesting stuff. I'd love to see how he approaches laying out penciling and sketching and kind of doing those preliminaries. Would absolutely love to see how he comes up with these, and even some like abandoned ideas. I think that would be really cool to see, like, oh, I came up with some different structures for the page and then I reverted. When like that would be super cool to see. I really do hope maybe if they do a giant collected edition of this, I don't know if they ever will, but if they did like absolutes or something, or maybe collected a few, if they got 3 more books, so they do 2 large oversized hardcovers, I'd love to see them do some of the collections like that too. But for now, we have a nice cover art gallery in the back, which is really nice and appreciated. And then an about the creators in here with Lemire, Sorrentino, Stewart. And then we got some stuff with Wands and Lockard back there too. And that is Tenement, Volume 3, well, entry number 3 into the Bone Orchard Mythos. Here, we'll get them all lined up right here for you. I believe that's the order. But there we go. All right, so that was a quick overview. Well, a little bit of Black Feathers and Passageway, but an overview of Tenement. And you know what? These books have been so fun. This whole Bone Orchard Mythos has been really fun and really interesting. I am sad, like I said at the beginning of this video, that Lemire and Sorrentino are taking a bit of a hiatus break, indefinite. They don't know when they're coming back to it because as Lemire posted on his Patreon page, that he is kind of burned out a little bit on the horror genre, which understandably he did. He's done a ton of horror stuff. I mean, he's got, where are those at? They're in here somewhere. Yeah, he's got Gideon Falls. That's what it is. He's got Gideon Falls going on. So he did 2 hardcovers with those, big series. And now he's doing the Bone Orchard Mythos. So I can understand that he's getting a little bit burned out on the horror genre. Needs to take a little bit of a break. And I know that Sorrentino he's got a bunch of projects going on, which, that's amazing for him. Love that. His art is outstanding. So it's great that he's getting a ton of other work too. I love seeing creators be successful. That's awesome. I'm a little sad that I got to keep waiting for more of the Bone Orchard Mythos now. I know that they've announced some things already, and those are probably going to be pushed down the road, probably another year or 2. But you know what? We all got backlogs more than likely. I have a huge backlog of books that I can keep myself entertained with. So I can always come back to the Bone Orchard Mythos, catch back up, get the latest thing whenever it eventually drops. But you know what? Even still, with these 3 books, there's enough there. There's still a lot of mystery, but they answered a lot of kind of what's going on, and gave some really good ideas of how these 2, I point right here, 10,000 Black Feathers and the Passageway, tie in with Tenement and how it all is kind of intertwined. So really cool that way. So if we don't get any more, it's still been a really fun ride. I would love to see, at least 2 or 3 more books, like Tenement size. 'Cause I mean, that one's probably same, like twice as much story as you get in one of those books. So it's, I'd love to see the series expand to at least double to triple its size. 'Cause that'd be amazing to see how all of this kind of gets fleshed out fully, rather than leaving anything up in the air. But you know what? If I don't get any more, I'm pretty satisfied with where it's at right now, at least. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, if you're looking to pick up these books and get into the Bone Orchard Mythos or Gideon Falls or any of the books by Lemire or Sorrentino, make sure to hit up OPB, use code Omnibuddy for $2 off every order if you're ordering 1 to 3 books. If you're going to order 4 more books, so hey, you could get these 3 books, you could get Gideon Falls Volume 1 and 2, and you could get them all shipped together using code Omnibuddy shipped together, get 5% off that whole order, and get just a whole bunch of Lemire horror going on, and it's all great horror. It's not, I mean, it's not like super scary horror, because I'm not really into like weird crazy body horror or like that kind of, like those kind of comics. Like Razor Blades, that I started to read, it just wasn't for me. But these books where it's like that thriller mystery kind of thing going on, love it. Anyways, so you can support my channel, support OPB, use those codes or any other creator codes really, but definitely like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, do all of those things. But like I say in every single video, comment. The most important thing you can do is comment, because I love talking with you all about what you're reading, buying, selling, collecting tips, and just general comic book industry and all that kind of stuff. Love talking with you all, so make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite either Jeff Lemire book is, or your favorite horror book that's out there, and that and why it's your favorite horror book. Is it like a mystery thriller? Is it actually super scary? Is it like murder mystery? Is it like demons, or whatever, supernatural, or like vampires or something? Let me know in the comments. All right, I'll let you go. That's it. Take care. Stay cool.